Welcome to our part 6 of the PLC series. In the previous 5 videos, we have seen some basics of PLC, right? What is PLC? PLC structure, its block diagram, inputs, outputs, memory type, some applications with examples, okay? And in between, we have seen some programming types, which type of programming can be used in PLC, okay. So in the part 6 of the video, we will learn which are the common types of PLC input devices can be connected to the PLC device, okay. So uh, the first device are the push buttons, right? So what are the push buttons? Push buttons are actually makes the process starts or stop, okay. Means it either stops the process or starts the process, okay. It is operated by making contact, okay. Remember this name, making contact. It actually makes the contact or breaks the contact, or called as breaking contact, right? It breaks, it makes the contact and breaks the contact. Actually, see, uh, if I consider like this, two parallel lines are there, okay. So this is a normally open contact, means there will be a contact between there, okay. This contact, if it is open, then it is called breaking contact, and if it is open, it is called making contact, okay. So just remember this point, okay. So it makes the contact and breaks the contact. So basically push buttons are divided into two parts, two types: normally open and normally closed. So what is normally open? It is denoted by this symbol. Let's see. So these two circles, and above there is a space, okay. So it is not making any contact. Normally open contact, it makes open circuit, okay. Normally open contact, when connected in a circuit, then it makes the system open circuit, okay. Current cannot flow through switch, okay. If it this switch is connected, if this NO contact is connected in the circuit, then current will not flow to the load. Pushing the button will make metal contact, okay. If I push the button from the upside, it makes touch with each other and closes the circuit, okay. So after touching this contact only, the device, the metal contact will be closed, and this in circuit the current will flow, okay. So this is a normally open type device, okay. The second one is a normally closed. It is denoted by NC, okay. When connected, shorts the circuit, okay. It is already a shorted device, it is connected. When it does not need to make any special condition for making start, okay. When it is connected in a circuit, it is already in closed position, then current will starts to flow through the load. When connected, shorts the circuit, okay. Current already flowing, right, as I have discussed. The second it is then the third, okay. Third one is the selector switch. The simple example is fan switch, right? In fans, there we control the speed, right. If I want to make the speed of the fan very fast, then there will be coils inside, and the tappings are provided on it, okay. This kind of switch, that switch we use there is called selector switch, fan switch. More than two contacts are available there, okay. So according to the tappings, there will be more than two contacts, okay. Then the fourth one is the limit switch. Change state when predetermined limit is reached, okay. If limit is set there, okay, if I'm considering a water tank, okay, then or a container containing a milk or a petrol product, okay. So if I set a limit there, then after that limit it will change the state, okay. If it is open, if it is in open condition, limit switch is in open condition, then after changing the temperature in the container, then it will automatically get closed, or vice versa, okay. It is also of two types, denoted by this NO and NC. It is normally closed, right. Then in that there is a temperature limit switch, pressure limit switch, level limit switch Okay, in temperature limit switch, it is denoted by this symbol. It is also of two types, NO type and NC type. NO is denoted by this. There will be one spring, okay, coil or spring or coil, or NC. Okay, so what is temperature limit switch? It is also called as a thermostat. Okay, what is thermostat? It is used to detect temperature changes. Okay, it actually detects the temperature change. Okay, uh, if there is a temperature difference in the system or a container, okay, then this at that point temperature limit switch will be used, which will uh, which will operate if any kind of state changes, means, okay, right, as I have explained, if there is a liquid, okay, then if it is converting into gas form, then that state is changed. Okay, then the NO contact will be NC contact, or NC contact will be in NO contact position. Okay, so it is used for basically overheating prevention. Okay, if overheating is happening in the system, then it will prevent from overheating. Maintaining certain temperature of material. Okay, to maintain a temperature of material, any kind of material is used, then their material temperature change can be detected by this temperature limit switch. Similarly, there is a pressure limit switch. It is denoted by this, right, NO. It is also of two kinds, NO and NC. Okay, NC is actually closed. Used in containers where pressure of liquids or gases is crucial, right? As I said, if in container like milk container or a gas container or a petroleum container, okay, there will be a pressure of that liquid inside the chamber or a container is crucial, right? So we have to maintain that temperature. Okay, so the at that point pressure limit switch is used. Okay, so NO and NC are the two types of pressure limit switch. Change state whenever liquid or gas in the tank reaches high enough pressure. Okay, if the liquid in the container reaches high enough temperature pressure, the pressure gets suddenly increased, then at that time this kind of switch is preferable. Okay, level limit switch, as the name suggests, level, called as level sensor. It is also called as level sensor. Control the height of the liquid inside the container. Okay, if I am using this switch in container, then it will determine the height of the, it is connected near inlet and outlet valve, okay, through which the liquid is taken in, and through which the output liquid is taken out. Okay, so these are the switches. Okay, the next one is the most important, sensors. Okay, sensors, what are the sensors? Sensor either measures physical quantity or detects uh, or detects, means if, as I said, in the container there will be liquid. Okay, suppose milk will be maintained at a certain temperature, right? So there, that temperature, if any kind of temperature change occurs, okay, so that will be that change will be sent to the PLC. Okay, but which in but in what form? In what form the switch, the sensor will sense and will provide the input to the PLC? It will be in analog or digital form, right? Means either analog means the in current form, or a voltage form. Okay, there will be some predefined voltage and current limit. Okay, sensors either measure a physical quantity or detects. Okay, it either measures the quantity or it detects. Okay, sensor must be a transducer. Okay, it might be a transducer who convert, what does the transducer do? It converts the physical quantity into electrical quantity. Why we have to convert the physical quantity into electrical quantity? Because in electrical quantity only the PLC will understand. It does not it will not under PLC will not understand the physical quantity. It should be converted into electrical quantity. So that's why the transducers are used. Okay, sensors. So for choosing the sensors also, okay, for choosing which kind of sensors are used, okay, what are the qualities should be there in the sensors. So these are the points. The accuracy of the sensor should be high. Okay, accuracy means how accurately the sensor is capturing the data and it is sending to the PLC. Okay, dynamic range, how widely, or how, at what range sensor is actually determining the temperature or pressure, okay, at what range, response type, okay, how quickly the sensors are reacting, sensitivity, how it is sensitive, stability, repeatability, reliability. So remember this point, these are the important points, how should the sensor should work, and what are the qualities of the sensors, okay. So as I have explained, what are the type of sensors used. Sensors are divided into two types. First one is the analog type, second one is the discrete type, discrete or digital type, okay. So what are analog types? Analog sensors output a continuous voltage linear to experience change in the environment. As I have explained, experience change in the environment, what does this sentence mean? It means that if a container is set with certain temperature, okay, for the milk, that milk should be maintained at that temperature only. If any kind of change in that temperature occurs, then that signal will be sent to the PLC in a continuous voltage linear manner, okay. Continuous voltage or current can also be there, okay. So that signal will be analog type, okay. So which are the types, okay? The temperature sensor is sensing is there. It can detect the temperature sensing, distance sensing, luminance, what the brightness of the light, okay, sensing, pressure sensing. So these are the sensors, analog sensors types, which can be used. So what where means, if I say the example, the analog inputs can vary from this range, okay. 0 to 20 milliamperes. Amperes means what? It is an analog quantity in terms of current, okay. 0 to 20 milliampere, 4 to 20 milliampere, okay. And in terms of voltage, it is 0 to 10 volts, okay. In both terms, analog current and voltage can be given as an input, which can be sensed by analog sensor. So analog sensors are basically two type. Which type? Current sensors, voltage sensors, okay. So we know that PLC is a digital device, okay. PLC is a digital device, right? So it will not understand which type of analog inputs are given. If I give current quantity or a voltage quantity, it will not understand. So as PLC is digital device, we have to convert this quantity into digital form, okay. So current quantity and a voltage quantity is converted with the help of A to D converter, okay, into digital format. Okay, so the analog values are sampled periodically by the PLC, okay. So actually PLCs are connected to many analog devices, okay. PLC does not perform only one or two operations, it performs many operations, or it can take many inputs from various analog and digital devices. So various analog devices are sampled together by the PLC, okay. It checks the PLC input at certain times, hundreds and thousands of times the value is changed, and it is determined by the PLC. Let us suppose voice. If in a room there are 100 voice, okay, so this 100 voice is captured, is given to the PLC input, and it can sample that voices in terms of bits, okay, in terms of bits, because it is a digital device. Discrete sensor, as I have explained, discrete sensors are digital sensors. Its output means it is sensing, as I have explained in analog, that in analog it is sensing in terms of current and voltage, right? But in discrete it is either high or low, okay. Output a high or a low voltage only, okay, in terms of voltage or current. PLC runs on, okay, as we know that PLC runs on 24 volt DC. So discrete sensors have internal switching, right? It has switches like NPN switches and PNP switches. If I am using a sensor as a switch, if I am means actually it is divided into two types, either NPN or PNP, okay. If either NPN, if I am using a NPN okay, let's say a PNP, okay. PNP switching device means a sensor type is PNP type. In sensor there will be switching, right? So PNP type sensor is used. So that PNP type sensor, we denote it as a source. It is a source device. If the sensor is a source device, then the input module of the PLC will be sync device. Okay, source device, sync device, sensor and input module, sensor and input module, sensor and input module. If sensor is a source, then sync will be the PLC input, source sync, and vice versa. If I am taking PLC as a source, if I am taking PLC as a source, from PLC the data is given to the sensor, then it will act as a source and the sensor will act as a sink. So it is denoted by NPN syncing. Okay, PNP provides +2 volt. Okay, PNP provides +2 volt as an input, and NPN provides -24 volt as a input. Okay, so kindly check this all the input devices. Then we will discuss some output devices like PLC actuators and output devices. So what are output devices which can be given from PLC output module to the devices? So these are indicators and alarms. So indicators and alarms are the output devices. So which are indicators? Indicators such as pilot lights. Okay, so pilot lights are green ones, means if a PLC is in running, how should the programmer, how should the operator know, how will the operator know that the PLC is working? He will know if there will be some indication, right? So this will be given by the pilot lights, indicators. Okay, this, if the green light is on, okay, which shows PLC is running properly. If it is green light, then it is showing that PLC is running properly. If red light is if red light is shown, then it represents that PLC does not have any ongoing operation. If it is red indication, that it denotes that PLC is not in operation. Okay, this next one is the alarm. Alarm is also output device. Okay, provide notification with higher urgency. Okay, it will provide notification with higher urgency. Blinking red light, okay, horn, buzzer represent hazardous condition. Okay, this denotes the hazardous condition. Buzzers produce sound with visually as single frequency powered by electrical source. So buzzers are there which makes sound. Okay, if any kind of hazardous activity happened, and then this, and at that case buzzers will be used. So these are some output devices. Remember, in alarms, indicators, actuators. So actuators are those which convert electrical signal to the mechanical movement. Okay, connected with higher power source. It is connected to the higher power source. We will see in the next some future videos. Okay, solenoids are there. We know that how the solenoid is represented. Okay, there will so see there is the DC source, switch is there, coil is there, and one plunger is there. Okay, it moves with the magnetization. If I switch on, if I press the switch, okay, the DC will starts giving supply to the coil will energize, it will produce a magnetic field. Due to that magnetic field, the plunger will go outside. Okay, it can be used in a container, in inlet valve and outlet valve. It can be connected there. If it is magnetized, then it will close if the plunger is moving at the right side, okay, then it will stop the flow. Okay, if we de-energize the coil by opening the switch, then it will again contracted and plunger will move inside. Okay, so this movement will cause inlet and outward flow of the liquid inside the container. Okay, so these are the examples. Okay, solenoids. Then motors, various motors like DC motors, BLDC motors, stepper motor. In DC motors it is used for speed control. Okay, so these are the output devices which can be used by the PLC. Okay, so remember this, all the points. This can be used in future videos. Okay, these are the device which is we will be using during the programming. Okay, so this was the small video. Okay, kindly note down this notes properly. Okay, so thank you for watching the video. Have a nice day.